So I had a good childhood. My parents were fairly well off. We lived in lovely houses. My father was a banker, and my mother, she was a homemaker, but very bright, a maths student. So she wanted her children to be very well educated, and we were sent to excellent schools. Mind you, I studied in 7 schools as my father moved office so very many times. But along with studies, my parents believed in travel as education. So they would often take us to very remote places. And it was a lovely education where you met all kinds of people. So I find even today I can settle down in any environment. I can adjust, I can talk to the people and go ahead. I won't feel shy about it. So the childhood was good, except that I was a little accident prone. Like at 6, I broke my front teeth, a bit mischievous, you can say.
Mm.
So, um, but otherwise, I had no major disease at all. In fact, I was about 58 and a half, you can say, when I was diagnosed with cancer. And until then, I had never ever been admitted to the hospital. And I was very active. I was a professor of English at IIT, which is an institute of national importance. So it taught me many things, and I traveled as a result of being in that institute. When I say travel, I mean I traveled abroad to make presentations, and there met lots of scholars and all that, and sightseeing and all. But apart from that, it was a very free kind of place. You could do your thing. It was one of those few colleges in India which at that time gave any professor the levity to frame their own courses, to teach the syllabus. And we had very bright students, all engineering students.
Mm.
So I worked there for 23 years, almost a quarter century. And then I took voluntary retirement to be with my mother. She was aging and she needed someone to be with her. So from Mumbai, where I was teaching, I moved to Pune, where I stay now. Both are about 120 miles apart.
Mm.
And I was here for 10 years, absolutely doing well. I decided not to take up teaching as a profession with the university because it meant traveling every day, and long distance. And I didn't want my mother to find it hard to connect with me. So I became a freelance corporate trainer and coach and consultant. And I did pretty well because I was working in the area of soft skills and training up their engineers and technical employees at a middle or senior level. And they were very nice people, I encountered.
Mm.
Also, I started my NGO nonprofit in 2002. So there I took up two activities. One was to help less privileged children get quality education. We gave them notebooks, we sent them teachers, we sent them volunteers. But government school children here in India are somehow, of course, they come from very poor classes, which they can't help, but they don't have very good education. Possibly it's the background of the family, and families wouldn't understand taking them off to the village every now and then for functions. So there would be a disconnect between the child's education. Whatever that child had learned would be forgotten by the time they came back from the village. So they were very conceptually weak, and my volunteers used to go and help them out. And this other activity that I started was to train up teachers, school and college teachers, how to teach well in the classroom, so that you hold the students and their attention. And this, both these activities, my corporate training and my NGO, ran side by side. So I had a very busy time, as you can understand. But I was with my mother. I was staying in her home, and I had gone to Mumbai to do a training program for engineering faculty. And these were pretty senior people, and I was teaching them how to teach engineering effectively. I had some faculty from engineering with me, and I was the one who was hosting it. On the last day, now this is the contradiction about cancer. On the last day, as we were saying goodbye, one of the participants asked me, "Madam, how do you remain looking so fresh even after a week and at the end of the day?" And I laughed and I said, "Because I have such lovely participants, I really love working with them." The next day, as I stood in the washroom, my glance fell on my breast for the first time, as it were. And I saw a red uh, patch here, a kind of flower. And I got a little apprehensive. So the moment I returned to Pune, I got in touch with the gynecologist. I said, "What's this?" So, to not to alarm me, he said, "I don't think it's anything serious, but I would like you to go to the hospital next door and get an ultrasound." So I went for the ultrasound, and I found the doctor's face suddenly grew very somber. She called another technician and she said, "Take a look." And then she asked me, she says, "Can we do the FNAC?" And I said, "What's that?" So she said, "It's the fine needle aspiration." So I forget the last C, what it stands for. And that's a test that I would like to do with you. So I gave that. And she said, "Also, I would like you to do a mammograph." So I went and I did that, completed that. Next day, I got the result. And I was shocked. I had some kind of fear. Once the ultrasound was done, the FNAC was done, and the mammogram, but I didn't say anything. I just waited for the result. And after the result came, I was shivering, absolutely shivering, because I had gone alone. And I remember calling up my sisters and my brother. I said, "I have cancer and of the breast, and now what?" So one of my sisters said, "You wait there, I'll come." So she came. We went to the oncologist. He is supposed to be the top oncologist here. And we met him and he looked at the results and he said, "Yes, it does look like you have a diagnosis. And but to know what type, how advanced it is, and all that, I need to do a few more tests." So believe me, the next day we were only doing tests, screenings and biopsy and all that. Uh, I chose not to tell my mother, while I was being tested because she was 82 already. And I felt that since just the two of us stay alone, she's going to get very perturbed. And once the results were out, all the results had come in, the biopsy revealed it was a stage 3 cancer of the breast. Luckily, it was the ductile type, not metastatic. And also, doctor said you have HER positive, not, no, HER negative, HER's negative, HER's 2 negative. So it says you are lucky. It won't grow very fast. But in my heart of hearts, I was thinking, is there something like lucky? Is there something like that? So he asked me, he said, when do you want to get operated? I said, as early as possible. So in 2 days, my operation was fixed. And mastectomy was done. But he also fixed up that I would undergo 6 cycles of chemo and 33 of radiation. So that was the diagnosis. And only on the last day of the operation, my brother told my mother, and he said that she's being operated. Please don't worry. Things have moved on, and I'm sure she'll be all right. So that was it. And I, of course, was all shocked, in a trauma, you can say.
It was very fast, wasn't it? From when you got the diagnosis, or actually from when you discovered the patches until the operation, it was so fast. It's how did you
Yeah,
get your head
yeah,
around all of that?
yeah. But somehow I thought, and this is our naivety, we didn't know too much about cancer except that you die.
Mm.
Just that thought that I don't know what's going to happen. And it was a shock because just a week ago, I was traveling all over the country. I was with people in and out and standing on my feet 6 to 8 hours a day, not feeling tired at all.
Mm.
So, as I said, this is the conflict in cancer, that outside you could be looking very robust, but inside you are carrying disease.
Yeah.
And that's where, perhaps getting yourself tested again and again is extremely important. So, you can well imagine what happened. I was surrounded by researchers in the hospital. They were giving me forms, complete this form, and for chemo, please complete this, it'll help others. I was in just no mood. I looked at that form, read through it, and I kept it with me. I didn't have the heart to complete it. So when the researcher came, a very nice girl, she said, have you completed it? I said, look, I'll be very honest with you. I don't want to submit this, please. So she said, why? She said, even I have had cancer. It was benign, luckily. And I said, I'm very sorry, but I can't. I don't want to. I just want to be with myself, in the sense that I am the type of person who likes to process her challenges alone inside rather than talk too much about it. I don't know if it's a lack of acceptance
Mm.
or you just don't want to make it public till you have overcome it. So I went into a complete trauma. You can see it was like I couldn't think properly. I had lost focus. I was feeling no meaning in life.
Mm.
I was just staring at things. And my doctors were very nice. They kept inspiring me, especially my oncologist. Oh, you will be all right, and all that. But the more I found out about it and the more I thought about it, I couldn't accept it. So I remember in the earlier stages, like there was a point when I felt I could go mad. Just mom and me, and I couldn't tell her that,
Mm.
mom, this is what I'm going through. Occasionally, of course, I would speak with my sister or my brother, and they would say that you'll be all right. But people telling you that you will be all right is different from becoming all right.
Yes.
Partly there was guilt in my heart. The guilt was, why didn't I get tested? And I didn't get tested because the mammogram machine is so painful. I've always felt that better research is required in women's diseases. That why could they still not come up with some other system of measuring your mammogram except putting your breasts, which are so tender, within two plates and, you know,
Mm.
pressing them so hard for a few seconds that you want to scream?
Mm.
Why have they not been able to come up with a better device?
Good question. Yeah. But so how long did it take, you say, with all the 6 chemotherapies and the 33 radiotherapies?
6 months. I spoke with my doctor. I said, will I be able to go back to work? He said, yes, you will go back to work, but you will have to allot 6 months for this treatment uh, because we give you cycles in every 3 weeks. And radiation will be 33 days continuously. So he said it's going to take you about 6 months. You don't have to go anywhere.
Mm.
So, what happened was that I kind of shrank within myself. There was a lady whose company I was going to do my corporate training, and I had to call up the husband and tell him that I am sick with cancer and I cannot take up that assignment.
Mm.
So his wife, out of concern, came to see me, and she brought a gift for me. And looking at that gift, I kept it, but inwardly I felt no. I will not tell people that I have cancer. I'm going to go through it alone. I can't bear to see pity in their eyes.
Mm.
So I felt I'm going to fight it out. Now, initially, as I told you, I suffered a lot of, and it was almost like a mental health problem. I couldn't think properly. I
Mm.
was so crazed. I mean, I was doing things without, being able to apply my mind, and I couldn't even read a book. So at that time, I said to myself, this is not going to work. This can't work. So I started fabric painting.
Mhm.
I used to do it as a teenager. So I started doing fabric painting. And initially, I found that even my hold on the brush was very um, shaky. It was almost as if a child was painting. And then only gradually, as I stabilized, my mind stabilized, that I was able to paint better images. Painting did a lot for me.
Mm.
It kind of took me out from the surroundings, and it was kind of meditation. I am a trained meditation practitioner. So it was like I was meditating. Your total focus and concentration is on getting the image in the right proportion, putting the right colors, outlining them. Okay. So that was one phase. But my guilt wouldn't go. It lasted 2 years. The guilt was, why did I not go in for the mammogram? If I would have been, if it had been detected earlier, I wouldn't be going through this journey now.
So at this point, you were in remission, I guess? Or
No,
it was.
no. I was still undergoing the treatment.
Mhm.
It was after my 6 months treatment, you know, I then decided, okay, my treatment is over. Now I've got to fight this. And the day my treatment ended, I had already accepted for the next day to talk to some engineers at a company.
Mhm.
So I remember I wrapped my head in a scarf and I went to give them a lecture. I was looking pale, like my mother said, the like a frog's underside, the stomach of a frog.
Mhm.
She said, "You are so pale. Why are you going?" I said, "No, I wanted to reassure myself." Right.
Mhm.
And uh, 15 days later, I flew to Chandigarh to train up some senior level people for a leadership program. They also found it a little odd that I was not as exuberant as I normally am. But I didn't tell them a word why it's like that. This was not my first trip to that group.
Mhm.
So later on, they got to know that I had suffered cancer and gone through treatment, and
Mhm.
they, one or two of them, sent me, you know, good wishes. I accepted their good wishes, but I said, you know, I am, I like to just keep it under the wraps. So I request that you pass on the word. I understand everyone's sentiment and kind thoughts towards me, but please don't send me these good wishes. Just let's keep it on a silent mode, quiet. So that was it. And then my doctor told me for 2 years, you are very, you're very vulnerable. Anything can erupt in 2 years. So believe me, those 2 years, one was quite tense. However, I wouldn't understand why I would get depressed from time to time. I'm not the kind who gets depressed. I'm happy. So I went into meditation repeatedly to find out why I was getting depressed. And then one day it occurred to me in the subconscious mind that it is guilt. Now, meditation has a beautiful power. It can dig into your subconscious mind in such a fascinating manner
Mhm.
that once I could confront my guilt, I said, okay, so that's the reason why I'm feeling depressed. Okay, now what's happened has happened. I can't undo it. And I am now going to get rid of this tumor and not let it recur. And that's when I started on visualization.
Mhm. And how did you learn about visualization? I guess that's it, must have been quite an unknown thing at that time.
Not unknown to me. It's surprising that even as a child, I used to feel that if I tell my mind that I can do something, it will happen that way.
Mhm.
I do not know how that thought came to me, but I used to practice it.
Right.
Yet, when I did meditation as a course, they taught us guided visualization.
Mhm.
You, in deep concentration, you imagine an image. And actually, I was inspired by a support group. There was a lady out there. She said that for I have been in remission for the last 18 years, and well, I it had occurred. She said, and I went to my doctor, and he said there are 5 tumors inside you. So she said, I decided to imagine that they were gone. So he said, you come back after 2 weeks, we'll look at it again. So she said, every day I kept imagining that my tumors have gone. And when she went back after a fortnight, the doctor was so surprised. He said, it's all clear. I don't have to operate you. So I said, I mean, this is something I can do. And that gave me a lot of confidence. I started doing it, visualizing that my tumor is gone forever and it will not come back. The only thing is you have to have a lot of belief in the image. Because when you tell yourself initially, the first thought is not, don't tell lies.
Right.
How do you know? You know, all kinds of opposition. So I said, no, I know it, and I am going to visualize this every day till I'm in remission. So I kept doing it. I still do it sometimes. And now I'm going to enter my 17th year in remission. And I would say God has been kind to me. Prayer has been with me as a friend. God has been with me as a friend throughout my journey. And so now, actually, I find there's a lot more research going on using visualization and imaging to get rid of chronic illness. In fact, I came across a very nice article by Karen uh, Thompson, and she says the power of visualization. She says that I had written that little note, just a moment. Where is the book? It's very well said. So she says positive imagery results in dramatic healings in people with very serious illnesses, including cancer.
Mhm.
Positive imaging. So you put yourself in a positive frame of mind and look at that positive image with confidence, with belief, and trust that this will happen. And it results in dramatic healings in people with very serious illnesses, including cancer.
So that's what I want to know, really. Um, I mean, I belong to some intention groups, which I guess is very similar to positive visualizations. And it was, when we do the groups, the intentions, it's very interesting because definitely our energies are very, very up. So our energy is raised, and then we all of us in the group, we all have this really the image and the knowing, like we see the body being healed and this new light energy that is completely taking away the illness or disease or whatever it is that we are working on. um and the person that we do the intentions for, they always say, oh, I really felt it, I really felt the energy. And yet, that then goes away, right? Because when we finish and maybe we move on to the next person and so on, it comes down. How do you keep this so that it actually makes the effect that you actually want?
I have done it, I have used it with a group of participants who told me they couldn't make a presentation in public. Okay.
Mhm.
So I told them, I will remove this fear in you in 3 minutes. But you have to promise me that you are going to do exactly as I tell you. So I told them to close their eyes, relax, and just see themselves standing before the group and delivering the best speech in the world. They were really sweet, They actually did that. And I said, when I told them, now you can open your eyes, but you go on holding that image before your mind. When I asked them to open their eyes, I said, now say I am a very powerful speaker in the loudest voice with lots of confidence. So they all yelled, I am the most powerful speaker. And I said, now don't tell anyone what has happened outside. Don't talk. And you are going to begin making your speeches. So who wants to do it first? Believe me, the one who told me that I cannot speak in public, I have tried and I have failed, was the one who said, I'm going to speak in public. He got up and everybody was thrilled when he spoke. So speaker after speaker after speaker spoke fluently for that session. It works. You know why? Because you put yourself in a positive frame of mind. Ordinarily, what do? We berate ourselves. Oh, I can't speak as well as X can. And I wouldn't know how to stand. I will forget. One little experience of forgetting, and everybody forgets when you start speaking initially, becomes a block. So the same thing I did with myself. I said, okay, I was shocked, I was traumatized that I had cancer, that I didn't get myself checked. But now I am going to see myself clean of cancer forever, and it will go away. I'm going to kill the cells. It doesn't mean I gave up the medicines. I was on hormones, Femara, for 8 years.
Mhm.
But I just took it with a leap of faith. You need a leap of faith.
So in your visualizations, did you stick to the same kind of visualizations every time, or did you change it, or did
No,
you
I just stuck to the tumor is gone, it's killed. Just that thought.
really?
It's like a movie. It's a color movie. I just see myself. It's gone. And when I'll go to the doctor, it'll be clean.
Mhm.
So I get myself tested every 2 years, like doctors have said. Lately, when I went, he said, you needn't even come for testing. I told him, you're all right, he said. But I still go. Having burnt my fingers once, I still go. Luckily, this time the medical oncologist said that I don't want a mammogram, I want ultrasound, right? The whole abdomen, pelvis, and top. So she said, I just want an ultrasound. So that was very painless. I was happy
Yeah.
that there was no pressing my breast between two plates. Although now it's become digital, but still it's very painful, very horrible.
Yeah.
So,
But I want to go back to that visualizations. It's not necessarily a very easy word to say. So you're saying you're still repeating these visualizations now. You still
every problem that I have, for example, this is something I would like to talk about. Chemo medicines,
Mhm.
they caused me heart failure.
Right.
5 years later, I found my heart, instead of pumping at 65%, which it was doing at the time of my operation, had dwindled to 16%.
Oh.
And one day I was literally carried like this to the hospital emergency, breathless. So then, 6.5 years, I kept saying that I am going to find a cure for myself, knowing full well there is no cure for heart failure.
Mhm.
And then I was hospitalized a third time in 2018, and I got transplanted,
Really?
the heart.
Wow.
So, what began with cancer actually has ended with a transplanted heart. Today, I carry a transplanted heart, and I still visualize health and lots of happiness having my donor heart. There's a camaraderie between us, my body and that. So
Oh, that is amazing, actually.
I
Wow.
visualize. I believe in visualization.
Yes, but how do you? Because like when you spoke about the students, the ones with the public speaking,
Yeah, yeah.
what I felt is that you can really raise your energy to a place, and then you repeatedly go there to carry more energy to keep you going. But
Yes.
how do you do that with the visualizations for cancer or for healing when there's so much, how I'm feeling right now? Maybe I'm depressed, maybe I'm sad, maybe I'm hopeless. How do you keep having this high energy to help with
You
that?
just have to do it repeatedly and tell yourself, why tell yourself that I'm feeling so bad?
Hmm.
Yeah, actually, initially I was wretched. There's no doubt about it. I mean, every chemo cycle was one of the most awful experiences. I couldn't eat for 10 days. I used to get sores inside my mouth,
Mm.
right down to the throat. My lips couldn't touch. All I used to swallow was boiled rice and milk and sugar for 10 days. That was life. But gradually, once I adopted visualization, I said, just let it go. It's going. Now it's gone. And I got lots of encouragement from that lady in the support group. She was an American. And she said that for 18 years now I'm in remission. So I said, I'm also going to be in remission now. So you just have to tell yourself, your mind is the weak person in
Mhm.
you. So visualization and affirmations,
And what kind of affirmation?
yeah, they change your attitude.
Hmm. So the
And
tumor is
if a
gone. I'm
negative
healthy.
thought comes, if a negative thought comes, I say no, no,
No.
no.
Yes. I work a lot with this negative voice and the fears and things that come up. So um so I know, for my clients, a lot of them, they say this thing. How do I keep it up?
It's
And
just, you just have to keep on doing it. Just go
yeah,
on with it.
yeah,
In fact, you must have heard of neuro linguistic programming.
yes.
They actually have lifted from here visualization. So they ask you to uh, go through that experience the way you went through it, right? Now you erase that
Hmm.
and you rewrite the file in a more positive manner.
Hmm.
You just rewrite that. And it happens. You have a new soft file.
Yeah.
You have a new mindset. It definitely puts you in a very positive frame of mind.
It's exactly that, isn't it? That our mind is subjective, and it believes whatever we tell it. So we might as well tell it the positive. We'll tell it, actually, we're doing well, we are healthy, we are happy, we have everything that we want.
So they feel that the mind can heal the body.
Yeah.
People used to get healed even in ancient days, isn't it? And they didn't have too much surgery.
Hmm.
We had an ancient surgeon called Sushruta, third century, and he used to do operations without anesthesia.
Hmm.
Just put the patients to sleep, whether it was hypnotism or what, I don't know.
Yeah.
But he didn't have anesthesia, yet he used to operate on patients. But they were not aware, fast asleep.
Amazing.
So I think the mind is a very powerful tool. We haven't used it. Silver Mind Control also uses this method. Silva mind control. I remember reading, since the person said I used to get a very bad sinus. So he said that I read this book and I decided that I am going to use this method. So he would uh, visualize that his sinus, cold, everything is gone. It's gone.
Mhm.
He says, now I'm cured. It looks like our mind invites diseases.
Yeah. Yeah. I was talking to someone and he said, "Oh, isn't it the time that we usually get the cold?" Like I was like, "Don't have to." You know, it's
If
okay
you
to
get
have a winter with no cold. It's possible.
Well, it could be the weather also. It's not as if it's all in the imagination. But
Yeah,
then
of
you,
course, there's physical elements.
yeah, but then you wish that it goes away soon. Go. It'll clear out. It'll
Mm.
clear out. My mother had a very interesting way of handling her cold. She says it's only a cold. It'll go. She wouldn't take any medicine. It's only a cold. It'll go. And I found that she used to come out of it very soon. The mindset makes a difference. You can take medication, there's no harm, but it won't get aggravated. Feel now.
Yeah. And one more question I have is, so as you were doing the meditation and visualizations back in the day, did you look for signs that this was working, or did you really just trust?
No, at that time I didn't look for any science. Science was taking its playing its role through the medicines.
Oh, no, no, I meant signs on your body, like noticing the patches that slip different colors, or if there's nodules or something that they were not visible anymore.
No, no, they had removed the entire breast, so there
Oh,
was
sorry, you said that. I'm sorry.
all
Forgot
my.
that completely.
I had all my nodes removed. I had my nodes removed. So nothing was visible. But I remember that there's a discharge that goes through your from your breast where it's been operated, and uh, it's very crucial that it dries up soon. So when I used to go initially, I was very depressed. I told you. But gradually, when I found that it's 10 days and still not gone, then I said that I must start working on my mind and seeing it drying up. So I did use visualization at that time also
Mm,
to dry it up. I think in 20 days it was completely dry.
mm.
It went completely dry.
And then
One thing that I would like to leave with your listeners, cancer patients, is that mental, emotional, mental issues will come up when you are diagnosed for cancer. They are going to be there because it's a very challenging kind of illness. And while we know now that there is better and better treatment, better medication available, even vaccines are available, two things matter. One is early detection. So you can be treated scientifically. The second is you must seek the help of a counselor or social worker who can calm you down. It's a must. Because your emotions at that time are in turbulence.
mm,
A counselor is a must in every oncology department. And now I have begun to feel with my experience that this is something which has come up in research lately, I think in 2017, that chemo, there are certain medicines that will kill your heart muscle.
Mm.
So be vigilant. Be vigilant. You must talk with your doctor at the outset that if I am undergoing chemo, I would like the cardiologist to also examine me side by side. An echocardiogram is a must during chemo. It's a must. And also, it is a must. Uh, also, it's a must when you are going through radiation.
Mhm. Do you think that now, if it was nowadays and you already know everything that you know now about visualizations and everything,
I would ask for an oncologist to get me a cardiologist.
but would you
They
still go
work
through the
as,
same?
they must work in teams. It is oncology is not a sole kind one man show. It is not a single department. It
Yeah.
affects our body, mind, and future health.
But
So they must work with cardiologists. They must have lots of social workers who are there for you, even online if you wish to talk to them,
yeah,
so that you can. It's a very tough period.
yeah, absolutely. Support is
Yeah,
100%
we
needed.
need
I
that.
agree.
And if you wish, you can join some support groups also. But I find support groups not always have maturity. If they are young, then they tend to get very nervous, and that nervousness comes to you.
Absolutely. But I guess nowadays, now that you know that you can visualize yourself into good health, would you still go through everything that you went at the beginning of your journey, do you think?
Possibly, but I would be more prepared.
Yeah.
I can't say because when you now, for example, when I was diagnosed for heart failure, I mean, I hardly could think what was happening to me.
Mm.
I didn't know why. I mean, I thought I had a stomach upset tummy.
Mm.
But no, it was a heart problem, not a heart attack. My heart was in perfect condition. Chemo medicine had stymied my left ventricle muscle.
Yeah.
And that's the one that beats harder to get the blood going through the body.
Yeah.
So it was a very tough time I had even after 5 years. After cancer, I immediately took to work. I took to work as therapy.
Mm.
I started working with corporates. I used to go regularly for programs. And I was feeling very normal. It was 5 years later that I was detected with this problem. So my uh, cardiovascular surgeon who transplanted my heart, he says, "You are an inspiration. You've come out of two chronic diseases." He said, "Really, it's an inspiration."
Yeah.
So I said, "Thank you, doctor. At least you think I'm an inspiration." But I don't remember being much of an inspiration to myself at that time.
Yeah. We sometimes the last to see, isn't it? But
As I said, we need a counselor at that time, someone who listens to you. What are your concerns? I used to talk to some doctors and I would ask them, they would say, "Look, now treatments are better, you have better medicines, the chances are better, the results are good." But the worry was this was stage 3. Then I kept reading stories, of cancer patients who were cured even from stage 4. So I
mhm.
said, so I started telling her, "Yeah, I too will become all right. I too will become all right. I will become all right."
Yeah, amazing. Uh, Vinay, what is one message other than the one that you mentioned about the team and the support? What is another one message that you wish our viewers and listeners will take away from our conversation today?
Be vigilant. Be vigilant with your body. Be positive, but keep getting checked up. Once you are 40, don't leave it to chance. And be vigilant even about the treatment. Don't leave it only to the doctors. Cross question, read on that, read scientific research about it, ask yourself questions, talk to others. Don't leave it only to doctors. And be very vigilant all the time about your health.
Yeah. Thank you. I think it's a great message. Thank you so much, Viney,
Thank you
for
so
being.
much. Thank you. Lovely talking with you.